Hello, and welcome to the first annual Will Strong Music Awards based on this year's music that he heard working name. Woo! What's that imaginary person off screen? The show is starting right now and I never finalized the name? Yes, I did. It's called Will Strong Music Award based on this year's music that he's heard working name. It's called a working name because the name works to describe the premise. Dummy. One thing it doesn't tell the viewer that should be noted is that this is based solely on my own opinion as of 11 a.m. on Tuesday, January 6th, 2014, and is subject to change. And here's the albums competing for my regards, because, you know, the artists definitely had this show in mind when they made their albums. Opposites, Biffy Clyro, Incitaire, Inciter, Volto, Dead to Rise, Threat Point, House of Golden Bones Part 2, Stone Sour, 10-year anniversary edition of Cell Dweller, self-titled album, Volition, Protest the Hero, the alleged album, One from Many, The Devil Put Dinosaurs Here, Alice in Chains, The Wrong Side of Heaven and the Righteous Side of Hell, Volume 1, Five Finger Death Punch, Reel to Reel, Dave Grohl and the Sound City Players, Recharged, Linkin Park, Yeezus, Kanye West, Carve, Josh Money, The Marshall Mathers LP2, Eminem, Paramore, self-titled album, Lindsey Sterling, self-titled re-release, Culture Clash, The Aristocrats, and King Kong by Daystorm Power. Something else the title of this show didn't tell you is that it goes in reverse order from most awards shows. So Album of the Year goes to The Marshall Mathers LP2 by Eminem. I've been an Eminem fan for some years now, and this album was a huge payoff on the struggles and conflicts introduced in his first three albums. There's some truly virtuosic rapping here, but you really do have to be familiar with the Slim Shady LP, The Eminem Show, and of course the Marshall Mathers LP to get a full appreciation for this one. But if you do know those albums, you owe it to yourself to hear this one. The runner-up for Album of the Year is Volition by Protest the Hero. In my opinion, totally not swayed by the fact that they helped fund it on Indiegogo. Sarcasm. Seriously though, it's good. Protest has been getting progressively less progressive, and that was a negative point on Sterling. This time they really pulled it off with some great songcrafting and more practiced lyrics from Rhodey. Speaking of lyrics, Eminem wins Best Lyrics with Marshall Mathers LP2. Corey Taylor made a pretty strong effort to the House of Golden Bones, but what do you expect when MRE won Album of the Year with a rap album? Best Vocal Performance had a very similar outcome, with Stone Sour's Corey Taylor being set for the win until M came in at the tail end of the year and was all awesome and stuff. So let's move away from rap with an award for Best Guitar Performance. A lot of my friends and family already know that this one goes to Guthrie Govan for his work on Culture Clash. He's probably as close as you can get to objectively best guitarist as of this moment in time. Or, in layman's terms, dude be good. I don't know a whole lot about the upper levels of bass guitar playing, but I guess that Brian Beller is the approximate equivalent of Guthrie on guitar. So, he wins Best Bass Performance for Culture Clash. Now after Culture Clash won guitar with Guthrie Govan and bass with Brian Beller, can you guess who won Best Drum Performance? That's right, it's Marco Miniman of the Aristocrats. These guys are seriously good. So good they recorded this entire hyper-technical progressive fusion album live in the studio. And so the honor of Most Progressive Album goes to Kanye West. Yeezus by Kanye West wins Most Progressive. Not because it has a bunch of odd meter or blazing solos or anything like that, but because it's something that's never been done before. There's a lot of experimenting and a lot of risks taken with this album, which sometimes works out and is really awesome, and sometimes not. But either way, it's a step forward for rap, pop sensibilities, and music as a whole, which is what progressive is supposed to mean. Progressing. Were you disappointed that a rap album won Most Progressive? Then maybe you'll feel better when I announce the recipient of Biggest Disappointment. No, you won't. That's a terrible segue. Anyway, the biggest disappointment was Alice in Chains' The Devil Put Dinosaurs Here. The songs have almost no dynamics, and they're too long because the riffs are so repetitive, and they're a little high in the mix, which drowns out the vocals a little bit. Not to say that it's strictly bad, but it is surprisingly disappointing. But Paramore's self-titled album was surprisingly pleasant, so it wins Most Pleasant Surprise. So well-written and catchy release, and in a time when almost all music is in minor keys, including pop and especially rock, I appreciate that it's a pop-rock album that uses a lot of major keys. God, this guy's giving all the awards to the major label top-selling acts instead of supporting independent artists like he should. It's like the YouTube Music Awards all over again. I'm glad you mentioned that, Armchair Critic, because Best Independent Album goes to Volition by Protest the Hero, although they had a bit of an unfair advantage since they did have a record label for 7 years while they released 3 albums. So let's give it to King Kong by Daystorm Power instead. Best EP of the year goes to Oh, these are the EPs I heard this year. Zinni for Short, self-title. Room of Many Colors, Summer Teeth, Osara, self-title. And the winner is Zinni for Short. And the winner of Best Re-Release, of which the nominees are Lindsey Sterling and Celldweller, is the 10-year anniversary edition of Celldweller's self-titled album. It would have been a tie, but Celldweller won based on the fact that he didn't create a super special edition only available from certain retailers. Just a little bit. Best album from Portland, Oregon goes to The Alleged Album by One From Many. Best compilation album goes to Carve from Josh Money. And best album written by Pantera superfans goes to The Threat Point's Dead to Rise. How's that, Armchair Critic?
Well, those last three categories only had one nominee. And the EPs were all by independent artists, and you only listened to them because they were free.
Shut up.
And Josh Money and Celldweller are on a record label.
But it's a small one, so that's good enough, right?
Meh.
Good enough. So let's move on to albums that I only listened to once, either because they were streaming on iTunes or because a friend of mine had it. The albums are From Here to Now to You, Jack Johnson. The 2020 Experience Part 2, Justin Timberlake. Random Access Memories, Daft Punk. Scar the Martyr, self-title. Wheelhouse, Brad Paisley. Dream Theater, self-title. And The Wrong Side of Heaven and the Righteous Side of Hell, Volume 2 by Five Finger Death Punch. The best of those, based solely on my first impression, is Dream Theater because it's the only one I still want to buy. The loser in this and every category is the 2020 Experience Part 2 by Justin Timberlake. It was really bad. It was really boring and really repetitive, even more than The Devil Put Dinosaurs Here or Random Access Memories, which was a techno album. And to wrap everything up, the winner of Best Standalone Single Not Related to a Full Album Release is Late by Anecdota. It's a great song. And now you know what you should catch up on from last year's music if you don't have all of my winners. Or maybe you don't. I mean, you don't have to listen to my opinions, they're just my opinions. What was the point of this video? Oh well. Oh, and tune in next week when I honor a request and do a Bruno Mars song. I hate Bruno Mars. A lot. Bye-bye.
This is the end screen.